Okay guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to install from the Arch user repository. This is also known as the AUR. Now with that said, this particular video is for those of you running an Arch-based distribution, and before we get started I want to explain what the AUR is. It's essentially the user repository, not the one officially made by Arch. Now the default Arch repository is great, it has lots of applications, but every now and then you may find an application not in its repository listings. You'll go to type in pacman-s, then let's say Teamviewer for an example. You'll soon realize that that package is not available on the Pacman default repositories. However, with a quick Google search you'll realize there is an AUR archive for it that you can install. But before we can install anything from the AUR, you got to first of all go to the Arch wiki and follow all the steps for setting up the AUR on your system. It's not that difficult, and on screen I'll have the instructions as well as in the description. Essentially, once you got everything set up, you can head back over to the Arch user repository page. In my particular example, we're going to be installing Teamviewer. All I gotta do is right click the get link, then go to my terminal. Now once I'm in the terminal, all I gotta do is type in get clone, then paste that link. It should clone and download everything into a folder for us to install. If the folder isn't made for you or the files are not being downloaded, I recommend downloading get again. Sometimes this happens, just download and install get, and the get clone command should work for you. Anyway, once we got all the files, you just want to CD into the new folder. In my case, it's going to be CD Teamviewer, and once we're in here, we'll have a couple of files. The most important file is the package build file. Now this file can be modified, so if there's a discrepancy or an outdated package, you can indeed remove it before making the package file. Now I had to do this with the Firestorm Viewer application, however it is very rare to ever need to modify these files, so just keep that in mind, and if you do have an issue, maybe check the inside of this file out and make some changes. But of course, only if you know what you're doing. Anyway, once we're in this folder, make sure your terminal is navigated into this folder as well, and you want to type in make pkg. This will then begin to make the package file, which will produce a tar file that we can install via Pacman. Now it will take a little bit, and if it happens to fail for you, like I said, you can mess around with the package build file and remove any outdated dependencies that are probably in the file, if there are any at all. Anyway, as you can see, my Teamviewer application.tar file has been made. From here, all I gotta do is type in sudo pacman-u, then the name of that file. In my particular case, it's this teamviewer.tar file. After I type that all in and hit enter, it will then begin to install our application. And when it's all said and done, our application should show up in our start menu, as well as on our desktop if I remember correctly. However, this won't be the case with all AUR files. Some projects will install, but they won't produce a shortcut, I've noticed. I had this issue with Firestorm. However, in most cases, it will link you a link in the project folder. Then you can just add that link to your start menu. However, in my particular case with Teamviewer, it just added a start menu entry, as well as I think a desktop icon. Now there are some external things we need to do to get Teamviewer started up, but that is essentially it. Teamviewer is installed. So how would we go about uninstalling a AUR package that we installed onto our system? Well, it's the same way you would go about uninstalling any application through Pacman on an Arch-based system. All you will have to do is type in sudo pacman-rns, capital RNS, and then the name of the application. That will install the application and any dependencies that it may have installed. But yeah guys, it's basically it for this video, and I hope it helped you all out. TTPK signing off. Peace. We can plug in this USB into our modified PS2, as well as our memory card setup. And if you do want a tutorial on the photogrammetry, 3D scanning your room, adding depth to it,